Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Elite Physique University. I'm John Gorman, your host. You got Jason Theobald,
Yeah,
IFBB Pro in the house, about 8 days out from his first pro show of the year. Jason, what's going on, man? How are you?
not much. I mean, I'm good. Pretty good spirits, but I am feeling the diet. The training's getting harder, and just low energy. But yeah, man, pretty good spirits.
I know we're going to get into your prep. First, we're going to talk about a little bit of stuff, what's new with us. But I do want to ask you, is your caffeine up a little bit? Because if not, I'm gonna take care of that on my end for you real quick.
You
What's
know
your
what?
caffeine intake like right
My
now?
caffeine stays the same. Two
That's
cups a
awesome.
day,
Yeah, so you're probably what, 100 megs a day then, probably.
if that. Yeah,
Well,
just two cups.
guess what? I got you covered. So
I use those keto salts, man, for training, and I'm good to go. And those kind of keep me going the rest of the day.
yeah, I mean you're pretty disciplined with that, but I like to have a monster midday, so I'm ready to roll. So before we get into everything with your prep, and I'm super excited to kind of peel the curtain back to show everybody what it's going to be like as you head into peak week, and then obviously we're not going to do a show next week because you're going to be in peak week. You'll be
Yeah,
traveling. We're
I'll
about
be
to go over
traveling.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the week after, we're going to talk about your weigh-ins. We're going to talk about the day of the show and how you place. Like it's gonna be a fun kind of two-parter
Nice.
episode. What's new with you, man? Anything new with you business-wise or anything like that?
Yeah. So a couple things. I have reopened up. I'm taking a few hormonal, metabolic adaptation clients. So any women, even men who have, suspected hormonal issues, gut issues, all those things going on, I have opened that back up. I'll probably take like 2 a week for a bit here. And then on the New Ethics side, we launched Jumpstart Ec. It's basically like an anti-rebound product where, if you're dieting hard, you can take it. It'll keep your hormones in spot where you want them. So you'll basically recover faster. And even if you didn't use it for the diet, you can use it after the dieting phase to get hormones back into homeostasis. So we're really pretty pumped about that product. And then we also brought out New Youth, which is a collagen product. I recommend you check it out at New Ethics on our Instagram. We posted a lot of the data, and we chose 4 different trademarked types of collagen that all come with testing showing, improved hair, improved nails, improved skin, improved ligaments. And so it all combines together for a really nice product. And that was at 1 scoop a day. So that lasts 30 days on that. So we're pumped about those products. There's other things coming down the pipeline. My joint formula is going to be fire. It makes my joints feel 10 years younger. So it's going to be awesome. So anyways, we got some good stuff coming.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I mean, you guys are still cranking away. I know on the New Ethics side, I just placed an order about an hour ago, and I'm going to start carrying Gut Defender and the Chaseberry Liposomal on FatMuscleProject.com. And I'll be honest, man, Gut Defender is one of the most impressive supplements I've ever seen and designed and used myself. Man, I'm excited to show people that because that fixed me when nothing else would fucking
Yep.
fix me. And we'll talk about that once we get kind of the gut health episode part 2 with you and Vince on here.
Yep.
But I'm excited to carry that in the Chaseberry. On my end, I released my hormone optimizer product.
Yes.
And dude, in 2 hours, it shattered all my sales. And I'm still a new
That's
company,
awesome.
but it was just blew up and it's still going. And I actually had to reorder it today. And it's
Hell
only
yeah.
like 5 days old. I'm like, holy shit. Because sometimes that stuff takes about 10 to 12 weeks to get back in,
Sure.
and I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't realize it was going to sell that much. But it was kind of cool because then you guys dropped your Jumpstart the same week, and I started looking at it. I'm like, you know what, this would be interesting if I had my clients take my test booster during prep. They could add that post show, and we were talking about this before the show. They could
Yep.
actually double up and throw Jumpstart in there, and it'd
Yep.
be no problem at all. So
Yep.
I like yours. It's kind of based around Humanifort.
Humanifort. Yep.
Yeah, super super cool, man. That's something I didn't even know about a couple of years ago till you kind of told me about it. So
Yeah, it's really cool.
yeah,
Yes. I'm excited about that product. 100%. It's going to be, I think, a game changer. That's what we anticipate.
yeah, I'm excited. I'll see. Once it gets older, a little while, and you guys are selling it, and I'll see if it makes sense for us to carry it on our end. But I'm all
Definitely.
about carrying the best stuff out there. So I don't care if it's mine or yours. I just want to get the stuff in the hands of people.
Oh yeah, and we're all
We
for that partnership.
I just picked up the new hashtag hard to kill pre-workout on our end. I only added 6 ingredients to this thing. and it tastes like the green Jolly Ranchers. And I've actually got the
Nice.
first load in my car. The other load is being shipped, but I want to get some in my hands quick. And it was the first day I already had 30 people pick it up, and I
Oh,
just
wow.
had it in my car. So yeah, I'm getting ready to launch that next week. So just a bunch of new stuff coming out with
That's
us on our
great.
end. Some new Fat Muscle Army ice shakers. Just if you guys just kind of stay tuned to all that, you'll see new stuff coming. But enough of that stuff. One important thing of housekeeping I do want to talk about is our Elite Physique University seminar, September 12th and 13th. I believe the super VIPs are completely sold out, Jason. Those folks are going to
Yeah.
train
Heck
with
yeah.
us. They're going to come over and hang out at my house. We're going to have some food and stuff over there, but we're going to train and just really treat them like
Yeah.
VIPs. They'll get some of our products. It's going to be a fun time, but we still have regular tickets left, and we don't have a ton. I don't know the exact number, but we're only allowed 50 total people there, and they are going to hold us strict to that. And this is going to sell out. So if you guys want tickets, go to elitephysiqueuniversity.com. I'll link it here in the show notes, but you guys need to get tickets to come to this because we speak on 6 different classes. And I know, Jason, I'm super excited to hear your gut health
Yeah.
presentation. That's probably going to be the most popular one there. But if you're a coach and a trainer listening to this and you want to take your knowledge to the next level, guys, this is the kind of stuff that you can attend. The tickets are only
Definitely.
$249. I mean, this is really a steal to get
It
6
is.
classes and 2 Q&As and
Yeah.
really train, come train at the gym. People will be able to train at my anytime. It's a big 10,000 square foot bodybuilding gym. Like, we're all
Heck
going to
yeah.
hang out and have a
That's
good
awesome.
time. So go check that out. But without further ado, Jason, the Tampa Pro is July 31st. We're 8 weeks out.
Days.
Yeah, sorry, 8 days. My bad.
That's all right.
Sounds like I'm prepping. So when we first started this show, we wanted to start covering your prep, and it's almost like a blessing in disguise that COVID, that you're able to still do this because COVID
Yeah.
hit. Dude, you were supposed to do a May show, and COVID kind of wrecked everything, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
now you're able to kind of prep and get things in. How many weeks out were you from the Tampa Pro when you decided to go ahead and do this show?
I was 3.5 weeks basically. I know July 4th, we had a pool party and I had probably 6 or 7 Tito's. I did eat all my food properly, but and then that Wednesday night, I had sloppy joes at the house and I took my boys to Cold Stone. And that Thursday, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. And so that Thursday was when I cut out all the, extra food, junk, and everything's been like 100% on point.
So you basically been dieting hard for about 2.5 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is interesting. What was your weight? I mean, I know you keep pretty close track of that kind of stuff. Do you
Yeah.
remember your morning weight before
Yeah. I
you
was
started?
181 already when I started. So, and that's down from 190 when I was back in my morning weight was 190 probably back in like December-ish time.
Okay.
I cut all cardio out and I, just take a little more liberties. And then over the summer through COVID, I lost weight. We weren't going out to eat as much. And I always eat good if I'm not doing something with the fam. So I just kept eating right. I lost like 6 pounds through COVID. And then I was 181 when I started the diet and I'm 176 right now. So what is that? 5 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically COVID, I mean, you just kind of watched what you ate. You didn't eat out as often, and you just kind of slowly kind of tightened up without even really thinking about doing a show,
Right.
right?
No thought to it. And I mean, I was still eating ice cream during, times. I still took the boys to Dairy Queen. We just went through the drive-through and stuff. We just weren't going out to dinner as much. So yeah, there was no real forethought in doing a show. I just like staying lean anymore. And I just like being fit year round.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Do you remember your stage weight last time you did a pro show?
So when I did the Hurricane, I weighed in at 183. When I did the Kentucky Muscle and got second, I weighed in at 174. And my guess is I'll weigh in at about 180 because that's what I am when I'm at the gym. And my weigh-in time is 5 p.m. for this show.
Gotcha. So here's the thing a lot of people don't realize is, when you're coming down like you are now, hard, fast, short prep, you're depleted as fuck. You're a lot lighter than what you would be if you had been dieting, probably 8-10 weeks, whatever it had, your food wouldn't be so low, but like you're making a hard push right now, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's what I did. So everyone understands. When I made the decision, I went from eating like probably 400 carbohydrates a day down to 120, and it was just pre, intra, post. I left my protein the same, and then the last 4 meals after that pre, intra, post were all protein and veggies. I just eat a big bag of like whatever mix I had and ate it all at the meals. I did that for 8 days straight, and while I was doing that, some of the listeners know, some don't, but I'm separated now and we're going through a divorce. It's really amicable, but I was moving my house every night. So like I was dieting, I cut my carbs and calories drastically, and I was no longer sitting still at night watching TV. I was moving clothes and boxes and stuff all back and forth through the evening so that I could get ready for my closing, which was July. I moved in July 18th. So last week I was moving stuff all in the evening. So I was on low calorie and just constantly moving. And so I shredded up really fast, and it got to the point where I was like, all right, it's time for a refeed. I no longer am getting a pump when I train. So I hit a refeed of like 350 carbs. Well, I got way tighter. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run this back. I ran it back and I got tighter again. So I'm like, all right, so I'm going to cut this down to like 250 and see how I do. And I've been cruising at 250 roughly, and I just keep getting tighter. So I haven't had to go back to that 120. So I don't know what my calories are at, to be honest with you. I only get 5 grams of fat before I work out. Everything else is like real low protein and carb meals, but I eat carbs even up to bed. I have carbs at every meal.
Yeah. So, and let's drill down on that real quick. A lot of people here, they might hear you say, "I don't know what my calories are," and they'll be like, "What the fuck?" Well, no one knows your body better than you. And
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I was just talking to someone earlier. I said, there's a lot of times I can just program someone's macros, and I don't have to sit there and figure their calories out. I'm
Nope.
so used to seeing the macros and knowing the
Correct.
ranges for most people,
Yep.
and especially yourself. Dude, I'm just like you. If I want to do a quick mini cut, I'll cut my carbs to pre and post and do a little bit lower fat because I'm on HRT and get 250 grams of protein,
Yep.
and I get lean in a month.
Yep.
So, it kind of
And see,
sounds like,
I'm so consistent throughout the year on what I eat. So I know that if I take, the 100 grams of cream of rice that I weighed out for 4 months and cut it down to 60 grams, I know it's about where I need to be at. I've done this so long. And so I have I eat nothing but cream of rice and jasmine. And my jasmine rice can go up to 165 and down to 140. And my cream of rice can go from 60 to 80. And I just take what I need based on, I know if my blood sugars are really tanked and I'm not responding. And so I just kind of pick those weights back and forth. So I'm carb cycling. I just never sat and calculated the calories.
well, let's kind of triple down on what you just talked about, because I think that's kind of a cool tidbit to let the listeners know. And you do this with your clients quite a bit. You got really depleted. You were low carb, pretty low fat still, and you had that refeed and you filled out and you look even better, and you just kind of rode that horse, so to speak.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about that, because you can tell people
Okay.
what happens. It knocks cortisol down, the whole 9 yards. But that's kind of a cool tool to use to switch people, and you do that with people quite a bit.
Yeah. So, basically I was just reading biofeedback, and I know that, obviously you're going to fill out, so you're going to look a little better, but I could see my skin getting thinner and veins coming out more, in areas. So I knew that it wasn't just a cortisol response. So what John was talking about was when you have a nice refeed, especially after you've been pushing hard, serotonin levels drop, you calm down, and that cortisol, a lot of times there's a whoosh, and then, you'll see a new low, and people think it's because their metabolism sped up so much, but it's really because, they were able to calm down and relax, and the cortisol dropped out. So I knew that it was more than a cortisol response. I could see my skin thinning. So I was like, why sit there and go back to 120 when my body's, getting good response with a higher carb intake now? So I just kind of rode it out, and that's where I'm at now. And then I just kind of rotate in the carb amounts to kind of just get a little bit of a carb rotation going.
Yeah. So what are you doing right now? You said you were down to 250. Are you going to kind of ride that through the weekend, headed into peak
Yep.
week, or?
Yep. I'm not going to do much craziness for peak week. I'm going to just probably up my carbs a little bit every day, maybe by 20 or 30 grams. Just kind of a linear progression. Read the biofeedback, see where I'm liking, how my body looks. Salt will stay the same. Water, I'll increase it a bit, but I mean, shit, I'm flying on the day that I would be sitting in a hotel chilling. I fly on Thursday and I'm on stage at 9 a.m. Friday. So this really wasn't all super planned out.
Right.
But I get my boys on Wednesday, so I can't even change the flight because then I'd have to cancel that. So it just is what it is. You make best with what you got. So I might raise water a little bit, but I'm probably just going to keep water steady. I'm going to keep salt steady. I'm going to run a little expel, and I'm going to add some extra fats, probably starting Thursday and Friday so that I don't keep burning through the carbs. And get on stage, man. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I think doing things the way we all used to do it 10 years ago, it would make that Thursday fly in, make weight, get on stage on Friday. It would make it a bitch
Oh,
because
yeah. 100%.
everyone's trying to manipulate everything. And
Yep.
you and I were kind of texting back and forth, and I saw your pictures. I was like, man, I like seeing this because it's not like you have to do a bunch of crazy shit for peak
No,
week. When you're ready and you're this
you're
fucking
ready.
lean,
Yep.
you actually look better with water in you for the most part.
Correct.
So
And salt. So then it's just
right.
really a matter of, finding the amount of carbs. And, by noon to 1 o'clock, I look pretty good. So the problem is I compete at 9 a.m. So I've been debating if I just wake myself up every 2 to 3 hours and get a carb meal in through the night so that I don't flatten. Because I don't think if I get up at 6 a.m., I can have myself as full as I want to be by 9 a.m. So those are things I've been kind of debating. But yeah, it's just going to be steady meals, put a little extra fat in and ride it on in.
Yeah, I normally, for my folks that have to get up for those early classes, I've got them waking up 6 hours prior, eating their first meal, getting in, whatever, 60 ounces of water, whatever it is. And I'm like, you can try and go back to sleep, but it just takes time to fucking fill out. Like you can't get it
Yep.
done in 3 hours. So,
No, it's tough.
sleep gets sacrificed a little bit, but at that point you're there. So it's all good. I do want to ask you about stress.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm not gonna lie. If a client came to me in your situation, I would probably be like, "Listen, there's another fucking show down the road." But
Yeah,
you're
me
you're
too.
different. You're a different animal. You know your body. You know what you're capable of, and obviously you're stage ready as you're coming into peak week.
Yep.
How did you handle the stress? I mean, we know about Cordy's and stuff like that, but stress was high. How much did that impact your training and stuff the last couple weeks?
I mean, stress was high. But um, I was just so kind of happy to be back doing what I love that I really didn't focus on the negative. I just focused on the positive and just kind of took things as it came. Like, I mean, listen, my Porsche suspension went out and that's a 7 grand bill. Like, I had all these things hitting like literally the week I was trying to move. After just dropping tons of money on furniture and stuff, but I just kind of rolled with it, man. Like, I don't know. I was actually kind of zen and calm. I think just because I was so excited to just be able to even diet for 3.5 weeks to the chance to have to do this show. It's the only thing I can think of now. Of course, I always take my ashwagandha. I always take my Cordy's, and I rock them throughout the day. And so I was using it more. I think I was hitting Cordy's 2 tabs 3 times a day last week, and I've kind of been able to back off it this week now that I'm settled in my new place. But you know what? As far as affecting my training, God, it didn't really seem to make a difference. My training's been awesome and, just kind of renewed. So it's been really, I'm getting stronger going into the show. So on that front, I'm hitting on all cylinders. So it was just kind of a mixed bag. The stress was there, but I dealt with it. I kept a positive attitude and, I chose to do this. Right. So I wanted to see if I could do it. Like I wanted the challenge of it. That's why I did it. And I also want to show my clients like, look, bad shit happens, man. It makes no point to go off the rails and drown your sorrows in food. Now you're just going to be unhappy and fat. Like that's not a good combo. So, like, dude, stuck it up. So, I doubled down on things I could control. So,
Yeah, and I'm glad I kind of interjected that question there because if you're someone listening and you've never been on stage or you've only done it a time or two, stress and mentally how you handle stress during a prep is fucking everything. Because I mean, Jason, we both have clients that one thing goes bad and it just fucks them up and they lose sleep and they're doing all this shit and it makes their prep so fucking hard. And Cliff Wilson, one of our good friends, like he gives presentations on all this, how you mentally approach your stress is
yeah.
the huge difference maker. Like Cordy's is great and sleep and all that, like all that shit's important. But man, sometimes just the mental
The
switch
mental. Yes.
is just so important. And I don't know how to help people with that. Like, I wish they just legalized marijuana so everybody could just go get fucking high and chill the fuck out. But
Well, I do employ that, it does
right.
help.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to do that. But no, I think stress was important to kind of touch on there.
Oh,
Let's kind of
definitely.
let's kind of skip ahead here to making weight. So you're flying in on Thursday.
Yep.
What time do you have to weigh in, and what's the cutoff?
Even that's like too much of a rush. So like I get in at like 3:30 and the weigh-ins start at 4 to 5. So I'm hoping that there's not like a lot of bad traffic.
Right.
So that I didn't plan out too well either. But making weight won't be a problem because like I said, normally by midday I'm around 180, and I can even in like in the pros, unless you're close, you don't even have to get into your trunks. Like I bet I could walk on my street clothes and just get on there, and I'll be like 182. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
won't be a problem. So making weight won't be a problem. It would be, obviously my goal was to come back when I was, after 2018, I wanted to come back and maximize my size within the class, but I'm not there right now. But I really wasn't planning on doing this. So I'm just going to plan to be as dry as I can be and present that way.
Yeah, your biggest stress is making sure you get there on time. And
Yep.
what people don't know is behind the scenes. About a week ago, you and I are trying to plan it out, and I thought, man, hey, I think I can fucking get down there.
Right.
I want to come watch you. I'll just pick you up. I'll drive you around so you don't have to stress. And I've got two natty pros doing a show in St. Louis the day after, and nothing I could do would get me back there in time.
No,
And I
no.
thought, fuck, man, it would be so much fun to see you hit the stage, but then for you not to have to stress, like I'll just pick
Right.
you up and take you where you got to go. But just didn't work out. So we'll kind of get to if there's another show. We'll save that towards the end. Um, your macros right now, we kind of already covered that. Let's talk about the key supplements
Yep.
and how you feel this lean. Let's talk about what are your key supplements? Obviously, Cordy's and stuff like that. What else are we missing here?
I've got all my HRT in, and they do Anavar. I've got that. Then, we've got Cordy's for sure. Like I'm doing 2 post-workout. I do 2 pre-bed. I'm relying heavily on our Relax product. When you diet and you're depleted, even though my carbs are 250, that's still depleted for me right now because I'm not having any free meals. I'm not having anything to fill me out. My fats are low. Serotonin starts to dip, and so you don't sleep as well. So Relax has been helping me a lot. I'm still relying on ashwagandha. I add more to my day. L-carnitine is a big one. I've got that up to 1,200 mgs. And I'm a big believer in number one, it gives you constant energy from fat as a fuel source. So you feel a little better, even though you're shredded. And it just burns fat better, keeps you more insulin sensitive. So that's a big one for me. I still take Abolic by the Lab supplements. I really like that one. What else? I've got our protein in, which is ISO Perfect. I've just added our new youth for joints and things. I take our Estracort because I only take like ADEX 3 times a week. So I take Estracort daily to control estrogen. And then I am using clenbuterol. That does help burn fat, obviously. Anything else that's major?
I know one minor one that a lot of people overlook, but I'm telling you, I had so many. It was a lot of females this week. I'd send them their peak week, and on their peak week, I tell them keep your creatine in, and they would email me back, and they're like, "I haven't been using creatine the whole prep." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "You
Yeah.
haven't been like it's the cheapest, most popular, best for
Yeah,
your money
I
stuff."
take the creacolin. I like that. I feel like
Yeah,
I can feel it better. So I do use that. I use our Essential Energy. Those keto salts are big right now. They really are. So I'll do that. My second cup of coffee will be sipped while I train with the keto salts and then a Gatorade. Right now, I'm running so hard on training. I've actually had to increase my Gatorade back up to 2 of them. So I'm getting 70 grams of carbs intra now.
oh,
And that
nice,
was just a judgment I made because my blood sugars kept dipping out on me.
right?
So I knew I needed it. And I just seemed to keep getting leaner so I can train harder.
Well, let me ask you a question here because I've always been real big on watching my clients as they drink their intra-workout drink because we're both real big on intra-workout carbs and aminos, and you like to have your keto salts in there as well. We're both big on that. I like to look at pictures of people post training when they've had all that, and I use a lot of their intra-workout stuff for when they pump up. Are you keeping a close
Yes.
eye on how you look in the gym
Oh yeah.
after having
Oh
all
yeah.
those carbs?
Yeah. My pump up will be um
A replica, basically.
pretty much my pre-workout meal. I'll hit an hour out. I'm gonna do beef, like a 90% type beef, with jasmine rice. That works amazing for me. And then I'll do probably with my Gatorade. So it'll be about, I'll start sipping that probably 30 minutes out. I'm pumping up, and I'll hit like probably 3 1/2 teaspoons of sea salt. That's what I do pre-workout now. And I'll hit some more L-carn. And then I'll probably hit some THC. It gives you a really good pump. It makes you veiny as fuck. And that's pretty much what I do pre-workout. And I get real vascular and just real full. And so that's probably going to be my and I might throw a little fats in there. I don't do that right now, but I might throw a little fats in there with it too, pre-stage.
Yeah, so I love that setup. It's something I've been doing with clients too for a long time. And what a lot of people don't realize, I used to get a lot of weird looks backstage, more like probably 7, 8 years ago. I'd have people drinking Gatorade and I'd have them
Yeah.
add salt to it, throw their creatine in, and they'd be drinking
Yeah.
it. And back in the day, we were pumping up without shit. We
Yeah.
were like drinking syrup and all this crazy ass shit, and we were
Yeah.
getting these weird looks. But what I tried to explain to my clients or anybody else when they would get worried when I had them drinking this stuff, I'm like, think about this. You're drinking Gatorade, which is pretty much half dextrose. You're pumping it immediately into the muscles. The same with the salt, the same with all that stuff. Creatine's a cell volumizer. You're probably going to throw citrulline in yours as well, if I know you right.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so all these things you're literally pumping into the cell, which is where you want everything. So it's not like you're going to hold water from drinking a Gatorade. And a lot of people, they're scared of that, man. Like they're really scared. But if you use all of this leading up to, like you've been doing this, you've been looking at yourself in the mirror, it's kind of like a mini test run.
Yep.
People don't have to be scared. Are there times where you had to, years ago, having people doing their pump up the day of, like explain to them that this isn't going to hurt them? Did you have to go through a period of time explaining that?
Yeah, there was a few people, obviously, for sure. Whenever I used prior, I also, and some people I still do, I use coconut water as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Has a lot of electrolytes. So yeah, there was definitely like some pushback, like, well, what's the science behind it and why? And I'm like, well, it's quick acting carbs and it's got tons of electrolytes, so it's a great choice. But Gatorade's the same way; it's got plenty of electrolytes and tons of carbs. So I use either, and yeah, I've had some times where I've had to explain the science and what I was doing, and then everyone's cool with it.
Yeah. Um, here's a fun question. You've prepped, I mean, a gazillion times. I don't know how many shows you've done, but it's a lot. Do you prefer the short, hard, rapid cut that you're going to right now compared to a little bit longer cut? I mean, you don't do long preps, maybe whatever, 8, 10 weeks, whatever it is. But do you prefer the short, hard cut like this? Or would you rather, if you could have started earlier and then, eaten your way into the show, which one have you kind of preferred better?
The short one.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I would rather just be 4 weeks out year round and then do 4 weeks rather than, have to be super anal for 8 to 12 weeks to get ready.
Yeah.
That that part of my life is kind of past. I don't think I'll ever sit and diet 10 weeks. Like I'm just always kind of ready because I eat good and I like to eat good and I don't eat shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, going back to like dieting 16 to 10 weeks, probably not ever gonna happen.
I wonder if
Maybe.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say maybe, but I just you know, starting another chapter in my life here too, and I would rather, even if I sacrifice the fact that I could get bigger quicker if I fluffed up a little bit, I just don't want to be that way. I can stay lean pretty easy, and even if I grow a little slower, so be it.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I just wonder if there's a kind of an interesting correlation if you're going to be able to get out of all this. You know how you feel at the end of a longer prep, a 10-week prep, and you start to really feel like shit for a few weeks.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you almost dodge that a little bit with a shorter prep? I'm kind of
yeah. I
interested
mean, it
to
it
see.
didn't kick in till like yesterday.
Mm.
So I'm only going to get a week of it. But I just know that a lot of the fat's off the body because yesterday I just kind of hit a brick wall and just wanted to lay around all day. But yeah, I would rather only have that for a week than 4. But, we'll see how the stage picks look. I might look at them and be like, man, that's terrible. Or I might be like, hell yeah, dude, I nailed it. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty fucking lean, but, your brain starts playing tricks on you. But, it's going to be a stacked lineup too. Like Chris Hunt, he won in Omaha and he's coming to do Tampa too. So he's already qualified, but he's doing Tampa as well. So and then a couple of the top guys that were in the top cloud in Omaha are doing Tampa. So it's going to be a tough line out. If I crack top 5 dieting 3.5 weeks, I'll be happy.
Yeah, well, I know we're all super excited. Let's talk about a few more things, and we'll talk about. I know you've got some clients doing the show with you, and we'll talk about some more shows if you have a plan. But first, cardio. So what were you doing before you decided to start prep, and then what switch did you make?
Okay, so I always do 5 intervals pretty much every time I'm in the gym just to stay lean year round of HIIT cardio. So that's like 4 to 5 times a week. So I was doing that, and then what I added is a 30-minute walk in the morning. Take my L-carn and hit some clean and do that. Then let me think. I do another. So then I do my HIIT session like we talked about post-workout, and then I walk another 30 minutes of list. And then, like I said, I was moving my house pretty much every night. So I was walking back and forth. And then it's a funny story. So I bought a new house. So no one's ever lived in it. And I knew the garage code, and we were going to close on Wednesday. So I thought, I know the garage code. I'm just going to start moving stuff over. So I started Monday night moving a lot of stuff over, and I had all my clothes on the racks. I had all my jackets in, tons of boxes, paintings, just most of the stuff was in. Well, I get a call from the realtor, and she goes, yeah, the building inspector hadn't approved your house yet. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I was like, they wait till the last day. She's like, yeah, they wait till the last minute on everything. She's like, you're going to have to get every single thing out. So I had to go back over on Tuesday night, the night before my closing, and move every single thing into my car and make it fit. And then drove around that way for like 12 hours and then put it all back the next night.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, dude, I was burning a shit ton of calories. If you want to get lean fast, diet and move a house.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, you know what? You brought something up, and we're gonna get a little bro here, but I don't give a shit. You talk about injectable L-carnitine, hitting that, doing fasted cardio. I've got this. I don't really think it's a theory. This is just how I think the body works. So a lot of people talk about, well, it's calories in, calories out when you do cardio. But think about this, folks. If you take injectable L-carnitine, it literally shoves fat into the mitochondria to be used as fuel. If you're fasted and you're doing fasted cardio, or if you're just sitting around fasting for 5 or 6 hours, I've thought about this. I thought, why wouldn't I just wake up in the morning? I don't eat till 1 o'clock anyway. Why would I not hit injectable L-carn? Sit there and just shove fat into the cell to be burned? It's like nutrient timing. It's not always a calorie in, calorie out type thing. How important do you think that L-carnitine is whenever you're doing stuff fasted?
Oh, it's major. I mean, I like I said, the L-carnitine is a game changer year round. I mean, I credit it to, being one of the big reasons I can stay so lean year round. Maybe I'm just a responder. I don't know, but I feel like my other clients who use it get the same type of result. So, when you're doing something fasted like that and you have, a fat transport system that you can get in and get, like you said, into the mitochondria to help, burn those fatty acids as fuel, it's a big game changer in my opinion. And from what I've seen.
I agree 100%. Go ahead and plug the company you guys have been using. I know you guys promote them over on the Excellence Cartel. Let our people know here.
Once Racehorse Meds went down, we needed to find a source. And Amino Asylum has, and it's called Carnishred. It's just L-carnitine. But the discount code is TEC 15, and that's for the Excellence Cartel. So it's TEC 15. But yeah, he's been nice to work with, and they have a good product. They have a lot of other good stuff too. So check them out.
Yeah, and listen, guys, if you're natty and doing a show, injectable L-carnitine is not something on the ban list. It's
Nope.
just because it's injectable does not mean there's anything wrong with it. And I get a lot of people that worry about that, or they send me questions when they listen to the show. I mean, listen, people take B12 shots, for example. There's all kinds of different stuff they have to take as an injectable. You just use it a hell of a lot better. So it's one of those things. I think it's early. I think in another 10 years, this will probably be a normal thing for people that are into longevity and physique enhancement and stuff like that. I mean, you see all these different ways to kind of maximize the systems of the body. I think this will kind of become something normal.
Yes.
So don't, just because you're natty and you hear the word injection does not mean that you're out there cheating at all, guys.
No.
It's just a different way to take it.
And you still get amazing results. I've had bikini athletes using it who are not on Anavar or anything like that. And their diets were just plain easier.
Let's before we talk about the clients doing the show with you, and if you're going to do more shows and your plans after. So right now we're recording this on a Thursday. I'm releasing it on a Sunday, so everyone here is listening on a Sunday. What's your plans, kind of like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? And I know you're going to go day by day, but are you just going to hit 250 carbs? Are you going to start ramping that up on Monday? What's that kind of look like?
I'm still debating, but yeah, my thought was to, add like 25 on Monday. So I'd be at 275. The next day, add another 25. If everything's going well, I'd be at 300. And just kind of, as I'm pulling cardio and I'm eating a little bit more day by day and it starts to stack on each other, I should start to fill out. And, if I get to the point where I like it, I can just ride that amount straight into the show.
Yeah, it's pretty simple plan. I was going to ask you when you're dropping the cardio. Are you just going to go and drop that cold turkey Monday, or what's the plans for that?
The walking is easy on my legs, really. And so I might let that run in for a minute, just depending on how I'm looking. Call it, by a day. As far as the hits on my legs, I will drop that Monday and switch to battle ropes probably till Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Kind of give your legs a break.
Yeah.
Let them fill out.
Give them a break from the hit for sure.
Yeah. Is there a last day you're going to train legs? You're going to train those on a
Yeah,
Monday?
that's tomorrow. 1 week out.
Yeah.
And, then I pose a lot. So, I mean, they'll still be getting stimulus, and then I'll have hit until Monday. And, they get stimulated from that. So it'll be all right.
I have a lot of people that ask me that, hey, listen, I'm training legs a week out. Is that a problem? I'm like, no, like you're okay. You've been training them. You look shredded. You're stage ready in them. They're just going to look better, when you give them time to actually recover a little bit more. Because a lot of people don't realize legs get so overreached during a prep when you're doing hit, you're doing sprints, you're training your legs. Like you're walking on them all fucking day.
Yep. And if you're doing any list cardio or miss, you're walking.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
Mine feel pretty good. Mine feel pretty good. So
man.
I think tomorrow I'm just going to ease up on the drop sets for them and stuff. I'll take things to failure, but not probably do any drop sets and different things that we've been doing just to prevent any deep soreness. But I'm still going to take it to failure one last time.
Are there any certain rep ranges you're going to hit next week by chance?
No, I don't get too fancy on it, man. I'm just gonna, train like I want the muscle to be stimulated, and but I won't do drop sets and I won't do rest pauses all next week.
Right.
And I do that right now, so that alone will stop extra stress on the central nervous system, and it'll allow me, as I'm adding a few carbs, to fill out. All those things will add up.
Yeah, that's kind of more of what I was getting to. I know we're going to do some peak week episodes and stuff like that. So I know I've had a lot of people that are trying to hit fucking PRs and shit 2 days out from their show. I'm like, guys, not only you're risking getting injured training fucking that hard, and when you're that lean, like let your CNS get a break and drop some cortisol. So
correct.
So the interesting thing about you doing the show isn't just that you're getting ready to go in at 3 weeks out. You decide to do this, but dude, you've got some badass clients doing the show. Talk about them, and then I'm gonna ask you about how you're gonna handle being there with clients, because in 2014, man, I was only like 7 pounds away, and the show I was gonna do, I had 16 fucking clients in that show. And it literally stressed me out to the point where I didn't want to do the show.
Right.
You've only got a handful.
Two, yeah. I just have two, but they're both awesome. So I've got Trish Wood, who's women's physique division. And since we linked up, I think she's done 4 shows and she's only been out of the top 5 once. And so, she's kind of had a revamping of her career and kicking ass. She just got third at Omaha. Definitely the hardest on stage. She's just tiny.
Right.
She looks great. She's just,
Short blonde hair, right?
yes. And so
Yeah.
some of these girls are 6 feet tall, and it's hard. But she looks amazing, and she's coming in harder this time. And then I've got Megan Santa Barbara making her pro debut. She's a New Ethics sponsored athlete. She's also one of my coaches. It's a very good coach. She's in chiropractic school. So she's another one of those hard workers, takes on a lot, demands a lot of herself. It's not been the easiest prep for her, just trying to juggle everything, but man, she looks amazing. And so we'll just see how everything plays out here. But, how am I going to juggle it? It's only 2 people. And, I've done peaking so many times. I've done so many shows. I know now that you don't have to be quite as anal as we kind of think you do.
Right.
And so, if I miss, a meal by an hour or something, it's not the end of the world. If I have to take tuna instead of beef, it's probably not going to be a big deal. So
Right.
I'm just going to roll with the punches, make sure I see them. And, just kind of, again, I have nothing to really lose here. I dieted 3.5 weeks, it's only things to gain. So try to keep it low stress as I can, crush cortisol all day, ashwagandha to keep the cortisol response down, and make sure that they're taken care of.
Yeah, and the nice thing too with clients like that, they're both pros. They know their way around getting on stage, when to pump up, like how to get their sheen and everything looking right. Like that's a little different clientele than if you had 4 or 5 people that it's their first or second show, and you've really got to kind of hold their hands. Like that's stressful as a coach if you're trying
Yes.
to compete at the same time.
Yes.
Um, so
But
yeah,
yeah, these are seasoned pros too. So even though Megan's probably only on her third season here, like she still knows, and then Trish has been at it for a minute. So
right.
I'll definitely make myself as available as I can, but I don't think that they're gonna be too needy.
No, I can't see that. But by the way, what's Megan? Do you happen to know Megan's weight off the top of your head? She's
Like 170, maybe something like that. She's
yeah,
taller. She's 5'9".
yeah, dude. I'm super excited to see how she places. Like her symmetry and she just appears so fucking big. I'm
I know.
super excited, but she flows right for
Yep.
figures. So
Yep. Yeah, I know. I know. It's one of those things where like, and she loves to train heavy. It's like, she's only 22. It's like, is her body gonna, just because of her sheer desire to train heavy, gonna push her out of figure? I
that's
guess
what I
time will
wondered.
tell.
That's what I wondered. But man,
She can
she's there
definitely put
now.
muscle on
Yeah.
very easily.
Awesome, man. Last couple questions here. Do you have any possible show? What are your plans after this show? Are you kind of eyeballing any other things, or do you want to
See,
hold that?
I haven't even looked ahead because I feel like with COVID, I don't even know if there's a ton of other shows. Like, I haven't even looked ahead, man. I guess I should get on the website and look, like, because I'll be in shape. But at the same time, I've got a lot of things coming up. We've got our seminar. I've got the PEC. I've got a lot of things to get ready for. I'm teaching, these courses online. I just have a lot. So I don't know, man. I haven't looked ahead. I'm just gonna see how this plays out, and then go from there, I think.
So all of these qualifications, and you'll have to excuse me because COVID's fucked everything this year, and I don't have a lot of people that compete in the IFBB, just a couple this year. So
Right.
if these shows that you're doing now qualifies you for next year, is that right?
So they would qualify me for, if I won, it would qualify me for the Olympia if it happens this year.
That's okay. So that's what I was trying to get at because it's just different, man. I think without COVID, everything starting with the Tampa Pro would have been a qualifier for next year because I remember looking back at Leslie's stuff.
Well, it's just like, so the year I got second at the Kentucky Muscle, had I won that, it would have been for 2019, so the next year. So if the show happens after the Olympia, then it's for the next year. If the show happens before the Olympia that year, it's for the Olympia that year.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
So yeah,
so, I don't know when they held the Tampa last year, but like,
like August 4th.
okay. So then that still would have qualified you if you won for the September or October Olympia.
Yeah, but anything outside of winning
Anything outside of winning is just points, and those can carry over. Like if they're behind the Olympia. So
Right.
like, the Olympia is not going to be till December this year, they're saying. So there's not going to be any shows behind it. But if you got points behind it, they carry over to the next year. But like points are tough now, man. Like it used to be, God, there was like a ton of point getters. Like there was 10 that got in on points. Now it's like the top 5 get in on points. So it's tougher. You basically just got to win a show.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I'm sure you'll have more to add on that after. So part two, once you get back, we'll talk about you flying in, making weight. We'll talk about the day of the show. We'll talk about how your folks did there at the show, Megan and your
Yep.
women's physique gal.
Trish.
Yep, Megan and Trish. And we'll talk about everything, all the way back to your house and kind of your reflections on how you place. So I know we're all rooting for you, man. Is
Awesome.
there
I
any
appreciate it.
way that we can? Do you know if there's going to be anyone there that's going to be, Facebook Live or anything like
I
that?
have no idea. I know like Billy will be there for me and he'll get pictures and different things like that. But I have no idea if there's going to be any Facebook Lives. No one said anything. A lot of times those kind of just occur randomly, people just start doing it. So
I think
hopefully someone will.
I think I'll holler at Lauren Conlon and see, because she lives there in Tampa, if she's going to be there and if she's not overloaded with clients doing the show. It'd be a badass if she could go
Yeah.
Instagram Live.
Hell
And
yeah.
that way, after prejudging, you'd be able to jump on there and take a look. I'll shoot her a text after this and see if she possibly can. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would. I agree.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you. We will we'll wrap this up and we'll get ready for part two. So good luck next week for myself and Jason. We're out of
Thanks.
here.
See ya.
See ya.